What's up everyone? Welcome to Ashley Talks Movies. I'm Ashley and I'm here to talk about movies. And the movie I want to talk about today is Ad Astra.
I do what I do because of my dad.
He gave his life for the pursuit of knowledge.
Because up there is where our story's gonna be told.
So the film stars Brad Pitt as an astronaut whose father, played by Tommy Lee Jones, was sent to Neptune, part of a project called Project Lima. And basically it's a mission in search of intelligent life in our solar system. And during that mission, he goes missing. And so 30 years later, Brad Pitt is recruited as part of a mission to find his father. And that's pretty much the gist of Ad Astra. What's really interesting about this film, directed by James Gray, is that it's really ambitious, and it's posing a lot of metaphorical, philosophical questions like, where do we fit in the cosmos? What's our purpose? The meaning of life? All these things. I've seen some people describe Ad Astra as brilliant. I've seen some critics say it's a masterpiece. I don't know if it's either of those things. I really don't think it gets to that level. The film is good, but I don't think it's a masterpiece. I don't think it's brilliant. I think it tries really hard to be both of those things, but it doesn't quite get there. So here's what worked for me in this film, which I didn't hate, I should say. I enjoyed it for what it was. But there were some things that worked and there were some things that didn't. Okay, so what worked for me in this film? One, Brad Pitt's performance. Brad Pitt does an amazing job with his character. So I should mention that this film doesn't have a lot of dialogue, and it's a very quiet film. The little dialogue that is in this film is delivered by Brad Pitt through monologue. So his character does talk on screen, but bulk of the dialogue comes from voiceover, and that's how you get a sense of what his character is thinking, what his character is feeling, because his character is also emotionally withdrawn. So not only does his character, keep his emotions at bay, he's also kind of known for being calm, cool, and collected all the time. And so for you, the audience member, to really get inside of his head, they use monologue to kind of convey those things. So Brad Pitt has a lot of work to do in this film because he basically has to show these emotions without talking, which is very hard to do. Another thing that worked really well for me in this film was the cinematography. I cannot stress enough how beautiful this film is. It's gorgeous. There are so many interesting, visually stunning shots of space, of Earth. So this film is very visually pleasing. And I cannot stress enough how amazing the cinematography is. So that's definitely a plus. So those are things that worked for me in this film. Some of the things that didn't necessarily bother me, but I have a feeling will be points of contention for some moviegoers. I should say this film is very slow. It's a very slow burn. Very slow. I cannot stress this enough. So if you don't like slow films, this will not be the film for you. As I mentioned before, there's not a lot of dialogue, and the plot moves very slowly. So you can imagine, because it's a slow burn and because there isn't a lot of dialogue, there's not a lot of action. There are a few action sequences in this film, but not a lot. Also, again, Brad Pitt is the central character of this film. His father, played by Tommy Lee Jones, is there as well. There's also a host of other actors, like Donald Sutherland's in this movie, Ruth Negga is in this movie, Liv Tyler's in this movie. Liv Tyler's in this movie, and I almost forgot Liv Tyler's in this movie. I don't even think she has dialogue. She kind of shows up every once in a while. She just kind of appears, but she doesn't have a lot to do. And that's one of the things that bother me is, there's all these really interesting, actors who are in this film, but their characters are just basically non-essential, most of them. And so it was kind of like they're there, but they're not really doing much of anything. As I mentioned before, this film is very ambitious. I liked some of the questions that it posed. I like this idea of trying to figure out where we as humans fit in the universe, and sort of these ideas of like what we do once we start exploring deeper into space. But I don't think the film quite lands where it wants to land. Again, I didn't hate the film. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it for what it was. So those are my thoughts on Ad Astra. Let me know what you think. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you find it boring? What did you think of Brad Pitt's performance? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're here, please subscribe to Ashley Talks Movies for more movie reviews and reaction videos.